Hello, everybody. Happy day, and welcome to another edition of Authority Marketing Live. Now, I am beyond excited today because not only have I had the opportunity to be on our guest's podcast myself, but he's the first person that has ever shown up early for this interview. And so I want to give Gabe Nelson a shout out for not only being awesome, but also really being super respectful and just like an all around great guy and author. So I'm going to bring him on right now because I think he just needs to be here. So we're going to be talking about his book, The Solopreneur's Money Manifesto. And here is the man, the myth, the legend, Gabe Nelson. Welcome.
Thanks, Melanie. I'm excited to be here and appreciate the shout out for being prompt. Thank you.
And I love it. And I respect that so much. There's this line from the movie Pretty Woman, which is I'm a fly by the seat of my pants kind of girl. Moment to moment, that's me. And sadly, that is me. And I know that probably makes you itchy. And that's okay because I have such respect for someone who is a lot more organized.
I'm a very methodical person. It's just
You
kind of
are
step by step by step.
And
Yeah.
I love it. So let's begin by talking about your book, which I'd love for you to hold up a copy. We
hmm
can see some behind you, but let's
hmm
get like a really good, yeah. So
Yeah.
the Solopreneur's Money Manifesto. Now, first of all, what inspired you to sit down and write a manifesto for solopreneurs about money?
The inspiration came from COVID in the simplest of terms. I started a podcast. The podcast called basically Solopreneur Money. And I started that podcast April 15th of 2020, right as everything was shutting down.
1 month into
And
it, yes.
yeah, we're 1 month into it. I'd made the decision in January. I was going to start a podcast. And as I'm sitting down with all kinds of extra time, because I mean, we're meeting with clients, but we're only meeting with clients on on Zoom and phone. We're not traveling all over the country for soccer and gymnastics and cheer and everything else for my daughters. And so I all of a sudden had this wealth of time, and I'm like, well, I'm going to plan out the next 6 months of my podcast. And when I did, I went, I got a book here. Holy buckets. I got a book. Um, and so I thought, well, if I'm gonna put all the time and effort into this podcast, I'm gonna just double the effort and utilize the time that I've done and just create a book out of it. And so the inspiration came from having a little extra time on my hands and went, oh, maybe I got a book here. So yeah.
I love it. Let me ask you a question. Did you find that now, since the world has resumed, that you still have more time than you used to?
Oh, significantly more.
Isn't that
Yes.
interesting?
hmm
So now that you have that extra time, what are you filling it with?
I'm trying to work as little as possible so that I can focus on some of these other things to have more fun. Long story short, a year ago, my wife and I and another couple decided to start a women's elite pre-professional soccer team. And
Okay.
oh yeah, yeah. There's never been one. Yeah, there's never been one in the state of South Dakota. I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, for anybody that's watching. And there's never been a women's elite pre-professional soccer team in South Dakota or Sioux Falls. And long story short, I had a crazy idea. I brought it to my wife. She didn't say no. My wife is not a no person, but I thought for sure she'd be like, "You're crazy. We're not doing that." She's like, "Yeah, let's explore it." So along we go, we decided to start this soccer team. So that's filled some time as well. And then we love to travel. We love to just get away. And interestingly enough, today I'm leaving to go to Tahoe to go snowboarding for the next 3 or 4 days with one of my daughters and some buddies. So
It's amazing. So that totally ties into your book, right? Because
yeah,
the Solopreneur's Money Manifesto, what is your ultimate mission with this book? What are you teaching solopreneurs?
I want to teach solopreneurs how to master their finances so they can create the life that they want.
And you're
And
living it.
so, and I'm living it. And that was part of the inspiration. I was sitting here going through the book and I'm like, wait a second. I'm doing all the things that I want to do. Do I want them to be better? Oh, of course I do. Do I want them to be more grand? Of course I do. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to take all this, put it into a book so that someone could read it and go, oh, yeah, I can do that. I can do that. I can put those steps in place. I can get the plans in place so that I can go and travel the world or go snowboarding or ski, whatever your excitement is. Um, that was why I wrote the book, is so that people could learn how to do that and then make that happen.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
So what would you give, maybe one or two top tier things that we could get from reading the book? Some ideas that maybe we haven't heard before or thought of before.
Well, I wrote this book differently than most financial planning books out there. I mean, I'm a financial advisor by day. I'm a podcaster, soccer team owner, dad, snowboarder by night, whatever you want to call those other
Go
things.
around Renaissance guy.
Yes, and so as a financial advisor, and then also creating financial plans, and also a consumer of books, I wanted to write the book a little bit different. And so the book starts off with something I stole from the coaching world, which is a life wheel. And it's a get your life figured out. So, where do you want your life to go? Where do you want to live? Where do you want to be? How's your relationships? How's your relationship with your spouse or your partner? And how's your health? It's all of these things. There's 8 areas that I start the book out with the whole intention of someone reading the book and going, oh, I get it now. If I start to think of where I want my life to go, I can start to put the financial plans in place to make that happen. And so that's the biggest takeaway that's different than most other financial planning books, which are all right, put money into this, put money into that, do this, don't do that. I wanted to start with something different.
That's fantastic. Okay, so if we go here to solopreneurmoney.com, what are we going to find there other than the ability to purchase your book?
There's a resources tab. There is the probably the biggest piece that someone could go use. And you got to give me your email address. I promise I'm not going to spam you. You're going to get an email once a month that says, hey, here's what's going on with our practice. But in there are multiple checklists of things that I've created. And one of my favorite checklists that's in there is so you think you want to hire your spouse, and that checklist to
Oh,
go through what are the things that you need to be thinking about and conversations you need to be having with your spouse when you think you really want your spouse to come into your business. And this checklist was born um, out of a trip to Costa Rica. My wife and I are sitting by the pool, and I'm trying to convince my wife to come to work with me. And we're sitting by the pool, we're having margaritas. It's great. It's beautiful. There's monkeys around up above us. I mean, it's just a great day. And she looks at me, she goes, I don't want to do the work you want me to do. And I went, I get it. And so could my wife do it? My wife is amazing. She's smarter than me, better than me. I mean, everything in the world better than me. And she
and
would be an
she's not paying
amazing.
you to say that either.
No, no. I mean, no, not at all. I'm probably paying her to say that, honestly. So, um, but uh, she made it very clear to me that she just didn't want to do the work that it was. And it just kind of was like a spark that I went, wait a second, let me think how to make this work. So I created a podcast episode about it. I created a checklist about it. And I've had multiple people download that and are like, oh yeah, I went through this with my husband or my wife, and it worked great, or nah, it helped us understand that we really shouldn't be working together.
Oh, that's a great checklist. See, my husband and I knew from when we were dating that working together would have never ever worked. One time in graduate school, I asked him to monitor a video camera while I stood there and pretended to do a stand up. And the more I was practicing, the more annoyed he got. And so we decided then and there to just live separate lives when it came to work.
And it makes total sense. And the interesting thing though is we actually worked together before we had kids.
Oh, really?
We worked together. We worked together for about a year and a half or 2 years, and it was awesome. I mean, it was fantastic. I was in the insurance side of the business rather than the financial advisory side of the business. And she got licensed. She was helping do things and helping run the practice and run the business. And it was great. But she made it clear, I don't want to do that stuff anymore. I'm like, okay, works for me. Now I know. Now I can quit bugging you.
And now everybody can know by going to solopreneurmoney.com, that and so many other great things. So let's talk about your book itself and the kinds of things that you've been doing to market it. What would you say have been good things, maybe some things you wouldn't do again?
Probably the biggest things that I did to help market the book was I was on podcasts. I got booked on, I think it was probably 15 podcasts that I was on. And that was probably the greatest, what I would say, marketing benefit of the marketing side of my book. That's where I noticed the sales came from. And that's the other piece that I also noticed where I start to pick up additional clients. It's very interesting. Since the book came out, I've put on, as a result of the book, I think like 3 or 4 clients in the book. It came out, holy buckets. It came out a year ago yesterday. I
Happy
didn't even think about that.
anniversary.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank
how
you.
exciting. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that, because the book doesn't fall off a cliff. You keep
Mm-mm.
promoting it, and it's as exciting today as it was a year ago yesterday. So happy anniversary. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. I didn't even think about it. So anyways, I can't remember where I was going
Oh, well,
regarding the
some
book.
of the good things that you've been doing to
Mm,
promote, which are podcasts. Was there
mhm.
anything that you did that you wouldn't do again for a different book?
I I would say the whole like print marketing piece, getting in magazines, getting in things, but I can't really, I mean, I hired a company to do all that promotion stuff. So I didn't do it myself. So it wasn't time intensive. And so I would say probably that I didn't really notice any big benefits, but I also didn't chase it down. And I'm probably the one author in the world that has no idea how many books he sold. I honestly have no clue.
No,
Um,
that's pretty common, actually. There are
okay.
so many guardrails and barriers to finding actual numbers out that that is not an uncommon thing that I
Yeah. Yeah. So I
hear.
had I had some.
Lots
What's
and
that?
lots. You'll just say lots and lots.
Yeah, I mean, I was an Amazon bestseller in 2 or 3 days, and now that I understand the system, there's a system, but still, I have that title, and one of my buddies is like, "Dude, you're an Amazon bestseller. How much money did you make on the book?" I'm like, not much, my friend, not much money made on the book, but what it is anybody that ever asks me, I'm like, this is the greatest business card ever. All right, this is a piece of authority. This is to use your whole idea of your show. I mean, this is a piece of authority. This is a piece of credibility that is just, it's fantastic. And so I've noticed that what I would almost say the sales cycle of a new client coming on just that much quicker, easier. The trust is already there. They're already using my language. I mean, it's pretty neat. It's been pretty cool.
That is fantastic. And the fact that you're marketing the book and not letting it sit is that is the what moves the needle for you. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Of course. So where can we buy the book?
Go to Solopreneur. Yep. Go to solopreneurmoney.com. The other thing, and then it'll just take you right to links to be able to buy it on Amazon. Over the course of the summer, I invested in someone doing the book under an audiobook. So it's now available on Audible. And there's even, there's the Kindle version, etc. So it's all, just go to Amazon, but start at solopreneurmoney.com and click on the link. It'll take you right there.
Amazing. Gabe Nelson, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate your time. And the Solopreneur's Money Manifesto is now celebrating an anniversary, first anniversary, and you can get it right here, solopreneurmoney.com. Thank you again so much for being here today.
Thanks, Melanie. I appreciate it.